welcome everyone to this special episode of the Caravan Tour of Terror, a show that finds us touring the globe through the medium of horrific, chilling and disturbing entertainment. My name's Dolan, I'm the driver in this quest. Joining me at my side, as always, with a road atlas on his lap, yada yada, you know it, say hello Ali.
Hello Ali.
This time, we didn't need to travel very far at all. Where are we, Ali?
No, we actually had to travel a huge distance because we went all the way back to Glasgow.
No, our hearts didn't need to travel far because our hearts are always at home. So we're at the Glasgow Film Theatre, or GFT, for FrightFest 2022.
We are.
Which, as you might have guessed, is a horror movie festival. We first went in 2020 and had a great time. And then 2021 didn't happen for obvious reasons. But it's back! And so are we!
Yeah.
Exactly. So this isn't going to be an in-depth discussion, just a wee chat about the films we saw.
Chat.
11 films over 2 days.
Yeah.
A wee chat about them all. Wee bit of opinions, maybe highlight the ones that we think are definitely worth checking out. Yeah? Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Good. Okay, so what was the first movie?
So we started 1:30 on the Friday. No, I'm doing times because I feel that you have to get an idea of how you were feeling across these movies to give them a fair shout. Was the Friday 1:30 was the Irish Conor McMahon directed Let the Wrong One In. So I thought that I would read a little blurb for each of what we would see going in on our schedule.
Okay.
When Matt's estranged older brother Deco turns up at his flat looking terrible one morning, Matt figures he's just on another typical loser bender. But Deco's symptoms turn out to be more than a wicked hangover, and his newly grown fangs leave little doubt he's fallen victim to a group of vampires terrorising Dublin, posing as a group of hard-partying bachelorettes out on the prowl. As a brand new vampire, Deco needs his brother's help to survive, but he also wants to suck his blood too.
Who wrote this?
I don't know.
Because, I mean...
In a wonderfully silly and ridiculously rude horror comedy for Shaun of the Dead fans.
Okay, I feel like that write-up is not as good as the film have ended up being. But, I mean, there's professional writers that organise this festival. I don't think it was them that wrote that. Irish vampire comedy.
Yeah, is that what you would have written?
Yeah, pretty much. With Giles in it.
Yes, it has Giles from Buffy in it. Stars Carl Rice. I'm awful at Irish
AKA
names.
Blockheed. He's got a fucking... I'm assuming that's the younger brother, Matt. He's got a thick head on him. A thick head.
Eoin. E-O-I-N. I'm awful with Irish names.
Eoin.
Yeah. Eoin Duffy and Anthony Head. And also has David Pearce in it, who has featured in a surprising amount of Irish movies that I've watched.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who plays the neighbour in this. So, yeah.
Hey, he's everywhere, that wee guy.
Yeah, so, Donald, what did you think of Let the Wrong One In?
It was good. It was... it's mostly filmed on one location for a lot of it.
Yeah, mostly takes place in a flat.
Yeah. And... you can get a sniff of lockdown filming about it because of that kind of thing, but it does open up in the third act and it gets a bit more maybe ambitious, which is good. It had good jokes. It passed the 6 laughs test
Easily.
Yeah. It did the familial drama thing, brother that's an addict thing. I don't know.
And he's a vampire.
Heard that story before. Got Giles to hunt vampires, which I thought was pretty good, really. Well, yeah, I liked it.
I gotta say, Anthony Head leans into his role.
Yeah, he has fun with it.
Full gusto.
He also turned up with an Irish accent at the start of it, and we were all very worried. But thankfully, his character was putting that on. Thank Christ.
Yeah. It's a nice extra. Yeah, it's one of the laughs you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm surprised looking back. This was 96 minutes long because I felt third act started dragging a wee bit, but
Yeah, it got
overall, this was a really fun movie to open with.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good for nerds because it had, it was made
Giles
by a
on it.
horror nerd. No, not just that though, but I mean, it's very, referential and kind of like it starts with like a hen party in Transylvania, silly stuff like that. But it worked. It was fun.
It's a very silly movie.
Yeah, like you said, it felt too long, and I mean, just a wee. It's a common complaint with us, but you definitely felt it though, 100%. I think it's objectively got a wee bit that you need to snip out of it somewhere
and at this
in the
point,
middle.
this was like just going to the cinema opening movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was nothing to do with that fatigue or anything. Yeah, for sure.
The third act felt just a bit.
Yeah, second to third, there was a moment when. It was the montage, wasn't it? There's like a montage when they're trying to win the day, and when that started happening, I think we both identified it as the point where we're like, "Oh God, come on! You need to get out of this location and open up," which they did. They just took a wee bit of time to get there. So, but
yeah, but strong. Did you give them all?
I gave it a 6 out of 10, which again for me is a good movie that I would recommend to people who are into that kind of thing, and that is true. I wouldn't recommend. I don't think this has like crossover appeal. I'm not sure. It might be a bit out of reach for this film because I think a lot of the laughs that the audience were getting was, I don't know, little nods and winks and things, little references and things like that as well. Do you know what I mean? Or like the Buffy nerdiness of it. I don't think it's not a Shaun of the Dead style breakout runaway success, but as comedy horrors go, I think it's fun. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's budget shows at times, but for me, I definitely think that like I have recommended this, like even with the caveat of it might be a bit long in the tooth, but hey. I honestly didn't mean that.
Christ.
I know, awful. But I'd give it a 7. I'd give it a hearty 7. It was. I felt it was very fun. It's Flab didn't let the rest of it down. Like it was just felt a wee bit long. That's all.
It had some good gore effects as well. Which because it didn't. They kind of came out of nowhere, but they managed to make them look very nice. Like you weren't expecting it because it's definitely a slightly budget-conscious film. But then they've obviously spent quite a good chunk of change on some very decent grue, which is nice. So yeah, maybe a 6.5.
Oh, that's not how that works.
Nah, it's not. That's not. Yeah. So 6.
Oh, you're always harsh. So feeling good
hell,
coming out. Yeah, feeling
Jesus Christ.
Coming out of
Fuck me.
Let the Wrong One In was 4 p.m. on the Friday. Christopher Lee Parson, written and directed and edited. A Cloud So High, starring John Savage, Aaron Perillo, and Jessica Lundy. While living under the roof of his aging, disgraced ex-cop father, Gene Sarling, mentally unstable 22-year-old war veteran Paul evolves from a petty thief and ransacker to brutal killer. And Gene, also a recovering alcoholic, is forced to confront the fiercest nemesis of his entire life, his own son. The feature writing and directing debut of Hollywood all-rounder Christopher Lee Parson is an astonishing high-wire act, a thriller stylized to maximum overload for a uniquely unsettling viewing experience.
Oh, you finished? Okay.
I'm finished.
I didn't really enjoy listening to that, to be honest. So, well, I mean, my opening note. So we've got little notebooks. We take notes. I mean, Christ, we kind of need to because 11 films. Otherwise, it'd be a bit hard to remember every little thing you liked. But the 3 opening words for Cloud So High was well, not good. So yeah, that's me done, I guess. So no, it's not. Right? Okay. So this film was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. With no hyperbole about it, terrible. It was interminably long. The sound design was awful. The camera work was awful. The story was dreadful. The acting veered from terrible to maybe trying too hard. I don't know. The black and white vignette. Right, so what the fuck is this thing? It's a half a drama, half a docudrama style thing.
Yeah.
About a fictitious event.
It
A
tries
weird
to be
mishmash.
It tries to be like noir in the way that something like it's aspiring to be like Only God Forgives, and that worries me.
This was an awful film experience. It really was. There's no bones about it. It was fucking terrible. I mean, I think most of the theatre wished they could walk out, but I guess none of us did, because I don't know, it's FrightFest. You can't just walk out of a FrightFest film. You're here to see 11 films. I don't know what it was. I wasn't ready to, though, to be honest. But
there were a few people in our theatre that did walk out of this. Not a lot. Like, I'm talking, like, I could count in one hand, but there were a few people that walked out, including someone that's sitting pretty close to us.
And the fucking thing just wouldn't end. It had like 5 endings.
No. Yeah.
It had 5 natural end points. And it turned into like... So it's not thrilling. Like, it's really not thrilling. Like, so you're following this... You're following this killer guy. He's not even a very good killer. It was kind of described in person to us as a slasher movie before the film started. He doesn't stab anyone. He uses a gun.
Yep.
And he shoots 3 people, 2 of which are attempted rapists. It's not a classic slasher, but like he like becomes like a folk hero. Oh god, it's just shit. It's just shit. I honestly, I don't even want to talk about it anymore personally. It's just shit. It's shit. Don't watch it. It's not a so bad it's good watch. I like those kind of films, and there's one of those coming up. Spoilers. This is just shit. Don't watch it. There's fucking millions of these films on shat onto streaming services, and I find it ridiculous that somehow this was chosen for one of these 11 films. Genuinely, it's ridiculous. That's me done. 1 out of 10. Which is my first ever 1 out of 10 rating, I think.
The last 20 minutes.
You should just pretend you loved it.
This was the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, unironically, some people claimed they liked it, but I don't believe them.
I wrote that in the last 20 minutes, it rammed basically the Zodiac plus like 5 different hot button political issues into it, like trying to tie everything it done together and didn't. It was a genuinely unpleasant viewing experience. It's 1 out of 10. It's not a good movie.
I'm just checking my IMDb just to see if there's any 1s out of 10s that I've had before. There is not. There is one sole 2 out of 10, and that was Anderson Falls, which featured in FrightFest 2020. Don't watch that one either.
Don't watch that one either.
Are they contractually obliged to have one shit film that's not horror on the books? Because they've done this to us twice now.
Well.
Oh, dear. Anyway, carry on.
Movie 3. We dropped so hard on movie 2.
Well, see, movie 3, my first 3 words are back on track, so that's good. But I mean, back on track from 1 out of 10 is basically... Anderson Falls would have been back on track. It was 2 out of 10. Sorry, that's just for us. Carry on.
6:30 on the Friday.
We're all worried. we're all
very worried.
Fucking hell, what's happened?
Was Sebastian Godwin directed Homebound, starring Aisling Loftus, Tom Goodman-Hill, and Rafaela Chapman. The debut feature of director Sebastian Godwin, a Screen International Star of Tomorrow, is a creepy and atmospheric chiller in the Innocence tradition. Richard decides to take his new girlfriend Holly home to meet his 2 estranged children, Anna and Ralph. With his ex-wife nowhere to be seen, upon their arrival, the couple starts trying to repair old wounds and bitter resentments. Initially, things go well, but then the children devolve into behaving in increasingly unnerving ways until the mood turns completely sour. Soon, the strangeness has enveloped every aspect of the visit as the kids start to become threatening.
This is British drinking culture, the film. The kids are all like quaffing champagne. It's weird. So this kind of, I mean, first of all, this is kind of similar to like the wrong one in that it's basically filmed in one location, a house, big fucking house to be fair.
Bigger than the flat that they had and let the wrong one in.
I might have a twinge of lockdown filming about it as well, though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense that it's a big.
Well, the movie has
but it makes
5
sense
people
it's
in
a
it.
bottle movie. Yeah, exactly. So it's quite atmospheric wee tale about this woman, like you say, like. It's about her trying to fit in, and it's a lot about like British politeness and kind of, oh, I'm new to this family, and families are all a bit weird. All families have a weird little unique smell to them, and maybe they do things a bit differently. It's a bit odd, but is it weird? Oh, it's fine. It's probably fine, right? Am I being weird about thinking it's weird? And then, no, you're fucking not. They're fucking weird.
The first half of this movie, there is a lot of like, best not to say anything.
Yeah, it's
like you like, and it's a good way of really unsettling you. Because it does get to you that kind of just go along with it.
I think it's a very British thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not unique to Britain, but I mean, like, anyone can imagine kind of feeling that the way that Holly feels when she's like trying to fit into this new family, and she just wants to be liked by them. She doesn't want to rock the boat, and it's not going very well because the kids fucking hate her, as you'd expect.
Yep.
You know, and her husband's just a wee bit weird around them, not like he is around her. Blah blah blah. Totally, you know, and it doesn't. It's not really. I mean, we've watched movies on the podcast that are not traditional horror movies, and I mean, this is. I don't know.
It was more a horror movie than A Cloud So High.
Oh yeah, exactly. But you know, anything is like it's got atmosphere to it, and kind of it's much more of a drama for most of it. But it is kind of that uncomfortableness kind of is probably why it squeaks into the kind of FrightFest style of film. And obviously it culminates in maybe disturbing's too strong, but like it culminates in like a more of a horrific kind of thing. That's cool. I liked it. I wrote here 6 or 7, but I would probably say 6. Maybe even 5 out of 10, I'm not sure. Only because it's a wee bit predictable, and it's at the time it felt better, but I genuinely think looking back on it, that might have been because of A Cloud So High. It was good, but maybe didn't last long in the memory, and now I probably wouldn't watch it again or anything like that. Not that it was particularly bad, and it had like good moments and stuff like that. So, you know, more like a 5 or a 6. Maybe a 6, I guess, because a 5 is like, it doesn't have any particular problems. It's just, that's good. It's like an amuse bouche.
Yeah.
It's on your tongue there, it's fucking gone. Nice, though.
I thought all the performances were really good. Like,
yeah, the kids are very good.
The kids put in a good, creepy atmosphere in different ways. The son does not talk for the first 40 minutes of the movie. Like,
yeah,
it's weird. It's I think it does squeak into the. It's definitely more, and definitely doesn't go as far as something like The Strangers.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's more. I mean, my litmus test is always, would my mum watch this? And if she would, it's probably not horror. She'd probably watch this.
Would she? Wow.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, she wouldn't like it. That's the difference.
That's the different
but horror,
story.
she'd fucking turn off.
But I would also give it a 6. It was a... It was... Yeah, it was a 6. There's not too much to say about it. I think it couldn't have lasted much longer than its 82 minutes.
Yeah.
It makes the right turns. It keeps things going at a decent pace as well. And again, debut feature. That's a decent first piece of work. I always
and also sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, but I just remembered that we both. I can't remember if you agreed with me, but I came out of it thinking that there was a moment of restraint, and I wish they'd gone further with that. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think that genuinely for me was like maybe the difference between it being properly horror and not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just for you and me, because I can't explain that anymore.
Well, and for anyone that decides to go and watch this movie after the...
Yeah, but I'm saying don't. And I'm saying that's fine. Add it to the list of films you'll mean to watch and never do. Oh, the director Q&A after was interesting because he it's hard of hearing, and he was talking about how that kind of sense of like slight alienation that he dealt with in his life fed into being able to convey Holly's alienation, which was very nice. He was a very interesting guy. And the next movie was... Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I interrupted you when you were making a point. You should go back and make it. No, never going to make that point again. It'll be lost to time, Donald.
What do you mean again? You never made it once?
Exactly. So on the Friday, second last movie was You Are Not My Mother by Kate Dolan. Our second Irish movie.
Film, yeah.
Second Irish movie of the whole weekend.
Yep.
Starring Paul Reed, Hazel Dupe. Apologies.
No, neither of those sound correct.
Dupe. And Jay Jordan.
Dupe or Dupe? Are those the two choices?
Well, it's Doupe.
Yeah, it's a dupe or a dupe for sure, yeah.
Something strange has happened to Angela. Her teenage daughter Char is convinced.
Yeah, Char. Yeah.
Charlotte?
Yeah, Charlotte, yeah.
Ever since her single mother returned home following an inexplicable absence. I got it.
They'll never know.
Char has observed subtle changes in posture, personality, and appetite. Welcome at first, prior to her disappearance, Angela had been bedridden and an irresponsible parent. The difference soon becomes worrying as Char's scrutiny quickly turns to horrified dread. Before long, suppressed secrets and family lies arise, along with multiple...
Who's written this?
Scares.
Family lies arise. Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Who's written these? Fucking hell. Sorry, you were finished, I hope.
Rooted in evil Irish folklore, this quirky doppelganger mystery unsettles character-driven chills as writer-director Kate Dolan's contemporary fable reaches its incendiary climax. Just at least let me get through it.
I wouldn't
call it quirky.
Don't say evil Irish folklore. Just say Irish folklore. It's weird to say evil. Anyway.
Yeah, fair. This was a pretty drastic change of pace because even, I think, again, unsurprisingly, a lot of these directors had a lot to say about lockdown and filming in lockdown and lockdown. But this one is much more open.
This is a movie. This is a movie we've got here, Chief. It's a movie with loads of locations and stuff.
I know. It's crazy. And it's not a 1 out of 10. I can say that now. That's been our two. We've had 2 lockdown movies and a 1 out of 10. It's 8:45, Donald. I want a movie. So we got a full-on movie. This takes place around a lot of like council area Dublin.
Which way the director's from.
Yep. I really enjoyed a lot of the shots in this. I say enjoyed. Yep. It's depressing, but I thought they were really like. It's shot in a way, and it was funny when the director was talking later about thinking of filming locations. She would be like, "Oh, I remember, me and my friends when we were young would go down this alleyway, or we would hang out in this park," and it was shot in a way that you don't usually see that kind of area shot. These big, wide, tall angles of like public parks and walkways that really capture the kind of council estate you get in Britain.
Yeah, concrete, lovely concrete and rough cast. We did all laugh because she introduced it and she said it's going to show you a side of Dublin you've never seen before. We'd already seen a film set in Dublin about vampires.
And we were on movie 4 of 11.
Oh dear.
But no, this was a lot of folklore and family trauma, generational trauma as well, and I would say handled pretty well. Yeah, it probably doesn't wrap up all its themes neatly enough for me to say it executed them like amazingly. But I don't think it does anything a disservice, and tells a really creepy tale. Like the main actress in this playing Shar, brilliant the whole way through. A lot of like really strong performances in this movie. And a lot of it's our first full-on creepy moments, like creepy horror moments.
Yeah, it might be one of the scariest films of the whole thing now that I think about it, but it definitely had proper scares. Yes. We watched it without seeing the posters, which is good because the posters are pretty bad for showing you exactly what the fuck's going to happen, which is annoying. But it's your mental illness as a metaphor. Oh wait, no, it's not movie. They're kind of 10 a penny, but also it's a good one. It did it well. Yeah, it did it well. It had some kind of red herrings about where the plot was going to go for us because we hadn't looked at the fucking poster, so that was nice. Like right at the beginning, I thought that her granny was the source of all evil, kind of thing. That's where that felt like that was going. Oh, it's like a witch kind of thing. It's not a witch kind of thing, but magic still pervades the land they're on and stuff like that, and it seeps up through the soil and all that kind of that kind of thing.
But it also does that stuff without disparaging it. Like really, like it's very, very it's very much about embracing your traditions, whether they be true or not. There are good things you can take from the bad, and don't always just accept the bad. Like, while it is a lot about like how one generation can pass on horrible feelings, even if it's not necessarily direct like that. But also, there is stuff you can gain from it. Like there is lessons to be learned there, and do take comfort in your older traditions, especially where you're from and your country, etc. A very Irish movie.
Irish fairy horrors is its own subgenre at this point.
Yeah,
I would say.
Oh yeah, Irish folklore horror. Yeah.
Even just fairy folk horror, which I guess that is their folklore though. Proper scares, great performances. I wrote. I gave it 8 out of 10. I mean, I do remember it as being one of the better ones, so I'll go with that.
I would also give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, it's a very good movie.
Debut feature as well. Bloody hell.
Aye. You talk
very accomplished.
I say that Homebound's a good debut feature. That like this is a debut feature that I'd be like, yeah, definitely watch another one of her movies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'd be like, oh, what's Kate?
Yeah, Nolan rather than a stepping stone kind of thing. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
So yeah, like that. This is genuinely one I'm gonna say. Like, see if you see You Are Not My Mother, go watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a watch. It's
hopefully it comes to
recommendable.
Netflix or Shudder or something, because I think it's got an audience.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then that brought us on to the final movie of day one, the Friday, which was a sequel. Our first sequel.
Yep. So we went out. We watched the first movie beforehand so that we weren't lost.
Which did play at a previous FrightFest, so it wasn't completely out the blue for the festival. Directed by Kiah Roache-Turner, Wyrmwood Apocalypse. The long overdue sequel to the spectacular 2014 FrightFest Glasgow hit. Time to take another hellish, blood-soaked, breakneck-paced thrill ride into joyous Ozploitation 1970s style, sizzling with spectacular action, and I think this is a spelling mistake. I'm going to say anarchic glee rather than ararchic.
Yes.
Siblings Barry and Brooke join forces with fellow rebels to take on Soldier Reese, the Colonel, and the Surgeon. Jesus. The Surgeon, intent on slaughtering their way through a zombie-infested wasteland to find the living dead cure. With barely a moment to catch their breath, and more twists and turns than a pair of wrestling snakes, explosive, outlandish, playful, roaring, no holds barred, laughed out loud, deranged, gory fun is guaranteed.
Okay. Barry and Brooke are two very Australian names, aren't
Barry
they? Really?
And Brooke, yes.
Barry and Brooke, fucking hell.
Well, they're Australian, funnily enough.
Wyrmwood's a fucking weird concept because the zombies in it burp out
flammable
fuel that people use for cars.
Yeah.
I'm glad I knew that before going into the sequel, because it would have taken about half an hour to be like, what the fuck? Why is everyone strapping zombies to stuff? I mean, fair enough. But anyway, right, let's be quick about it. Not a lot to say. Not in a bad way. Not a lot to say. It's more of the same. Zombies,
so I remember you
cars.
being quite positive on this after it came
it's
out.
not. So not a lot of sense to it. Who cares? There's a cyborg zombie. There's burping zombies. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's fine. If you like Wyrmwood, watch it. If you don't like Wyrmwood, don't watch it. Easy.
Easy? What did you give it, 6 out of 10?
Yeah, and Wyrmwood was better. But it's not a shit sequel. It's for people who like Wyrmwood.
It's not a shit sequel, but
if you
I
like Wyrmwood, watch it.
Right,
if you don't like Wyrmwood, don't watch it. It's easy.
Stop yelling at me now. So I enjoyed Wyrmwood. It is a fun movie and a really dumb, explosive, like, their budgets are just good enough to be fun and just bad enough to be fun. That it really works with like everything they're doing. And I just felt that, this one was like still as mental, but it just didn't have that, like, it wasn't as fun. Like, I didn't laugh as much. I didn't think the action sequences were as cool or well done, as not in a bad way, just like it was just a wee bit like I expected a bit more go for it, and it just seemed a bit safe. Like the fun of the first one was how dumb they went. They just went with everything they had. And maybe that was everything they had, and that's the problem, is like it's diminishing returns by this point. Maybe it would have stood better as just a single movie. But yeah, like if you've watched Wyrmwood and want a bit more, go for it. Like but if you missed it, it's not going to be the end of the world unless they
for fucking sure
make the
for fucking sure. Would I watch the third one? Take it or leave it. Do you know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah, I would have to have it on decent terms.
To be honest,
improved on the second.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have sought out the second one.
Yeah,
I hadn't watched I hadn't got around to watching the first one, so it's not like. But
true.
Fine.
So that wraps up
brace
day
yourself
one.
for another Irish folklore horror coming up, guys.
That was day one. We've got 2 more Irish movies before the weekend ends. Yeah, so we started earlier on the Saturday. 10:45 was Mandrake, an Irish folklore horror.
Irish folklore horror.
And if you've ever heard of the word Mandrake, you can partly guess what this movie's about. It does not waste its time with its Mandrake scream.
No, it doesn't.
Director Lynne Davison, mentored through the Women in Film and TV UK initiative by suffragette and rocks director Lynne Davison makes her impressive feature debut with a demonic crime thriller. Probation officer Kathy Madden is given the task of rehabilitating... Is that right? Yeah.
Demonic crime thriller.
Yeah. Notorious killer Bloody Mary Laidlaw back into society after 20 years of jail. Kathy has always believed that every client deserves a shot at redemption, but her beliefs are firmly tested when 2 children disappear near Mary's farm. But witchcraft isn't real, and there's some good in everyone, isn't there? Or that's what Kathy thought until she met Mary Laidlaw. Whoever writes these, come on. Go on then.
Oh, fuck, you finished. Shit. It's hard to tell. So, Mandrake, it's your Irish folklore horror. So, this one's well made, and it was directed nicely. And I remember the performances being mostly fine, apart from the children being a bit less fine. It didn't quite get me. I wasn't gripped by it particularly. I could recognize it was fine, perhaps even good, but I don't know. There's just a lot of to and froing, coming and going. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of chills and thrills. It wasn't very chilly or very thrilly, really. I don't know. Like, it's hard to put a finger on exactly what. It's fine.
I think it leaned into its. It kind of reminded me of something along the lines of like first season True Detective and how much supernatural it leans into. That kind.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
but instead of it being, you know, your 2 guys in the middle of Louisiana or whatever, it's a very British crime drama.
Yeah, like the crime part of it.
See,
is
if this was
like
a 2-parter on
The Bill.
No, like if this was a 2-part like special, like one-off on a British TV channel, I wouldn't be surprised. And that is not a slight to it in any way. Like,
it gets a bit weird for that. It does get weird for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm glad it's a movie, because it wouldn't get that. It wouldn't get what it needs out of being a 2-part crime thing on British TV. So I'm glad it's in a movie, and it doesn't it's an hour 25. It doesn't outstay its welcome. It's just it's well made, it's well acted, it's, I definitely say, well written.
Listen, maybe I had Irish folklore burnout by the second.
No, genuinely, I give it another. I'd recommend. My 2 recommends so far are the two Irish folklore horror movies.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I'd give it.
But I'm struggling to remember stuff I liked about it now, so I don't know.
I'd give it. I would give it a 7. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent start to the day.
I just remember it as being a lot of pissing about, a lot of driving up to houses, driving back, a lot of running through the woods, running back. I better drive to my house. What's this? Oh, it's nothing. The fucking scene where that woman thinks that her child has gone missing and he was playing a joke on her to jump music. And then half an hour later, the child disappears in the same way is cheap and lazy, and I don't appreciate it. You can't do both. You cannot do both. All right? This is a PSA. You're costing yourself a point out of 10 for me here, filmmakers.
Filmmakers, listen to yourselves. Listen to Dolan.
Just behave. Honestly. Anyway.
What are you? Are you telling me that there's cliches in horror movies?
No, but you can't.
No,
well,
I'm with you.
2022, man.
I'm not saying it was like.
It was cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap as fuck. Cheap as fuck. I genuinely think I probably knocked it down from a 7 to a 6. But no, I honestly, it was.
Yeah, it was just
fine.
how much you enjoyed the movie, and especially how much you look back on it. If like you could watch a great movie and then 2 weeks later you're like, actually,
Yeah, I know. Part of it is the aftertaste.
Oh, never say that again.
I remember
So
this
we're
next
moving
one
on
way.
we move on to 1 p.m. on the Saturday. Howard J. Ford directed The Ledge. Mountain climber Kelly captures on camera.
Captures.
Mountain climber Kelly captures on camera her co-backpacker friend Sophie's lifeless body being thrown from a ledge by four men. That is not the eponymous ledge, by the way. By 4 men they met earlier, and now she must run for her life. Grabbing whatever climbing gear she can, Kelly begins scaling the daunting rock face in order to escape the merciless pack.
That's the whole film right there, by the way. At that point,
Yeah.
that's the film.
She gets
For the entire runtime. Yeah. Carry on.
As day turns to freezing night and mental and physical exhaustion sets in, all she can do to survive is climb. Hold on for a pulse-pounding, deadly cat-and-mouse game on the face of a mountain. From Howard J. Ford, director of Never Let Go.
This was mentioned in the same breath. This was Something Meets Something. What's the name for that? Something Meets Something. You know, like Sharknado. It's Jaws meets Twister. What's that?
A portmanteau? Sharknado.
No, I mean like a
mashup.
The comparison. No, okay, Sharknado was maybe too literal. Right. This was mentioned in the same breath as it was Cliffhanger meets Revenge. All right, Cliffhanger being a shit film, but I like that film. Come on, when I was a child, amazing film. Revenge is one of my favorite rape revenge movies ever, and I mean that's a tough crowd, isn't it? So I was looking forward to this. I might have even said to you, I've heard this is good. They were giving this a bit of love on Twitter before it started. There had been reviewers that had come to watch this from publications I'd seen on Twitter, the tweeter, right?
Tweeter.
This was fucking shit, but thankfully, not the way that Cloud So High was fucking shit. This was the audience openly mocking it from very early on.
So early on. So very, very early.
The characterization of this film was hilarious. All the men were mustache well, I mean, there's one main mustache twirling antagonist, but they all had their moment to mostly be total shitheads at some point or another, usually before they die.
Yeah, I would say that all of them were cliched, one-dimensional, bro lads. But the mustache twirling villain, like, so it's is it just they're just at a getaway, or are they on a bachelor party?
It's a yearly getaway.
Yearly meetup.
Yearly meetup,
and it's mustache twirling villain and his 3 spineless henchmen.
Yeah. And it's 2 girls that are the kind of girls that when they're alone together have, saucy, almost pillow fights.
Yeah.
And, but they
are dedicated mountain climbers.
Yeah.
They are
all these people that look like
these 2
kale
are
eating
dedicated mountain climbers. Whereas the other 4 are like
tourists.
Less so.
Yeah.
They're casuals. They're having fun.
Filthy casuals, yeah. They get together, they smoke a bit of weed or whatever. I don't actually remember if they smoke weed, but and then like you say, that one gets murdered. But it's so painful. The dialogue is just terrible. Like, the guys are all making frat boy, like, un-PC jokes, which made the whole audience go, oh dear. Like, I just remember a lot of oh dear kind of, oh that's shit kind of reactions to it. The girls aren't any better. The film's plot is terrible. It
The
goes
cartoonishly
nowhere.
evil
She
villain
literally-
yells, you bitch, several times throughout the movie.
You bitch! But it's like Neil Patrick Harris in character playing a bad guy, like as a joke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the delivery.
If you put Neil Patrick Harris in that role, this would be a comedy movie.
Yeah.
Easily.
I mean, honestly, it's just... And the fucking movie has literally nowhere to go. She's got nowhere to go. She has to climb up and just hang for fucking like an hour.
Yeah.
She's got literally nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So they just shout bitch at each other all the time and stuff like that. They fucking throw stuff at her. It's like ridiculous. It's a terrible concept executed poorly. I don't really know what... I mean, it is fun. It was genuinely very funny, though. What the director say as soon as it was... Because the director was there. The director was in the theater. And he said, I didn't realize it was as funny as that or something like that. He literally acknowledged it.
I didn't write this. Was also came out of his mouth.
He said, I wasn't responsible for the script, which he wasn't. Wow. I mean... I wonder if do you think IMDb has any I mean no fuckers watching this, but I wonder if because I would genuinely watch it again with friends. I genuinely think it's probably worth it, but it's hard because I mean there were so many really amazingly terrible lines, but you know.
Oh, it was very much a like open laugh out loud, especially if you've had a few drinks.
This fucking thing got more laughs than probably more, like, I mean, it must have been Let the Wrong One In and this were probably neck and neck in terms of how many big laughs the audience gave it.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. And I mean, it's also weirdly, like, nothing works. It's weirdly inconsistent because, like, we were both laughing about the fact that, like, they'd like lower a guy over the ledge to talk to her, and the guy would be like, "Listen, he's gone fucking crazy. Okay? I'll do this, and you scream, and then I'll go up and I'll say that you're dead, and then I'll kill him, right?"
I've complained before in the past about, and it's something horror movies have a big problem with, is people making stupid decisions. But there are stupid decisions, and there are completely unbelievable, like. No one in this movie acts like a human being would actually act. They are...
No, of course they don't.
This is the movie that plays in the background of a sitcom. Like, it's terrible. It's
terrible.
It's just well acted enough to be a movie, but so badly acted, and all the characterizations are awful, and the script is terrible.
Yeah, it's a cloud. It's not a cloud so high. It wasn't. I mean, it's not like unwatchable bad. Thank Christ. It's watchably awful.
Yeah.
It might. I mean, with that audience, it was very funny. If we watched it in isolation, maybe we would be like, "Oh Christ, turn this off." Do you know what I mean? Maybe it wouldn't pass that kind of test. I'm not sure, but I want to give it a go because I remember some of those lines were just unbelievable in terms of just like shoehorning in really offensive shit.
Yeah.
Like really, like there was 2 fucking snakes up that mountain.
Yep.
Because the director couldn't get spiders, and so they couldn't get spiders for the shot, so they had to get snakes twice, just for adding a bit of peril. Because there's nothing to do. She's just stuck up a mountain for fucking an hour.
Also, the amount of stuff she drops is ridiculous. Like, she's meant to be an incredible climber, but she just drops everything.
We let her off with the fact that she found a pinion, so stuck into the mountain tent that she could lie in and sleep in.
Yeah. And
I don't fucking think that
it's a major plot point. It's a major plot point in the movie because nothing happens in this movie. So yeah, it's just it's the kind of bad where I'm like, these people could go on to have all right careers like depending on what they're in next, it's just a bad movie. Like,
Yeah.
not like A Cloud So High, where I'm like, Jesus, how did this get made? Like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is this is a bunch of bad elements coming together, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah. This is A Cloud So High was one man's horrible ego trip, and this is a director just being like, I've been hired for a film. I have no creative input in it at all. Like, I'll just.
This fits the definition of it takes a lot of very talented people to make something bad. Like, even the worst thing you've seen, like, it takes effort from a lot of the time very talented people. You know, it's not like I was looking at the direction and going, how could he not do better than this? Like, especially, it's a lockdown movie, by the way. Like, a lot of this climbing is not on real rock.
I just remembered the fucking flashback scenes with that boyfriend. Oh, hilarious.
Hey, you can save that for the beer night.
Yeah, that's
That
probably
you would have for this. 2 out of 10.
I gave it 3 out of 10. Bonus point for laughs. So there you go.
Laughs, 2 out of 10. Then on to 315. Some Like It Rare by Fabrice Eboue. I don't know if I said that right. I hope I did. I apologize. Also starring. Sophie and Vincent Pascal have run the family butcher shop for a decade, but business is bad. So grim, it's on the brink of bankruptcy, and so is their marriage. But then Vincent kills a vegan activist who had vandalized their shop. And when he butchers the body and his wife accidentally sells it, customers can't stop lining up for the tender cuts. As the couple falls in love again over the counter, who says murder and cannibalism can't be a delight? And this outrageous, gory, black comedy written and directed by a French humorist. No one is spared.
Some Like It Rare.
Some
French
Like It Rare.
butcher cannibalism comedy. Loads of them. There's a weird thing about French-speaking cannibalism movies. Anyway, everyone seemed to love this movie. There was a lot of laughs.
Yep. Did you not?
I did. Yeah, I did. But I mean, just like, you could tell, like, this was pretty, like, everyone basically thought, like, it could pass my personal 6 laughs test, or it could pass basically fucking everyone's. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. This is a movie that
this felt like a smash fucking hit.
Yeah, this felt like a movie that should go bigger than it probably will, just due to the fact that it is a subtitled movie. But that's getting better if it gets the right push on the right platform.
This could get a remake. Potentially.
Unfortunately, it's that good.
It could probably get a remake.
It's so good, it will probably get an American remake that will be terrible. That's high praise. Unfortunately, no. This movie's excellent.
Yeah, it's very good. It had very funny sight gags, and it made sense after we came out of it and realized that the main character was also like the writer, director, whatever, because it does, I don't know, it's like a brave bit of work, right? And it doesn't feel fettered by anything. It feels like a vision put to screen. But unfortunately, it also had a couple of clangers, and I don't know whether that was I don't know whether
cultural?
That's because, I don't know whether that's cultural, whether... Yeah, it might have been pushed too far for our taste, but there's definitely some moments where we're like, that's too far, movie. And literally you could feel the whole audience feeling like that. Yeah. Like, rein that in a bit, don't be quite that offensive the whole time. But I mean, it was only a couple of moments, but just snip those bastards right out, I'd say, honestly, because it's a bit annoying that they're in there. Because
the
if
jokes
that
that
wasn't
get cut
in
for
there...
the American remake. It's a very French movie. And both for good and for bad. It is. It's again, only steps over what is usually commonly accepted over here, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, it is genuinely a fun romp. Personal 6 laugh tests, easy.
Yeah, it was genuinely very funny throughout, and it wasn't just funny like lines or whatever like that. A lot of the imagery was very funny and memorable.
Yes.
Like the visualness of it was very good, and it was definitely sufficiently dark and gory enough that it didn't feel out of place being there either. Even though it's, you wouldn't brand it a horror movie. It's not really. It's a dark comedy. But dark comedies can be pretty fucking gruesome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot because I gave it 8.
Yeah, also give it an 8. It's
Very good.
Very, very good movie. I approve. On to probably the biggest name in any of these movies. 5:45 on the Saturday, we watched Monstrous, directed by Chris Sivertson. Sivertson?
He of famous film he's directed. Infamous, I'd say.
I Know Who Killed Me, starring Lindsay Lohan.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, did we know that before we went in? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
We did.
And starring Christina Ricci.
Ricci.
No. From FrightFest veteran favourite Chris Sivertson, director of The Lost, I Know Who Killed Me, and co-director of All Cheerleaders Die, comes a unique supernatural chiller. Yellow Jackets star Christina Ricci, I read that as is, giving a signature, iconic and emotional performance, plays Laura, traumatized by an abusive relationship, who finally runs away from her former husband with her 7-year-old son Cody. But in their new idyllic and remote sanctuary, they find that they have another, bigger and more terrifying monster to deal with, one that will test both their mental health issues to the limit.
Mental health issues again. Whee! So this starts as a pretty straightforward Monster in the Lake movie. Then it becomes something a bit more interesting with a big twist.
Big twist.
But choppy as fuck, I'd say. There's like elements that it touches on, but it doesn't really go into in great detail, like witchcraft and telekinesis.
Yeah.
It kind of introduces these things and then lets them float away, never really to be explained. But Christina, I'm not going to say her last name because I don't know how to say it either, is good. She's pretty good in it. And there's good moments. But overall, I think it was pretty fucking uneven.
I thought it was a decent movie. It was nothing special, and I mean, it does everything competently. Like, the setting work is very well done. The performances, can't complain about them. It goes along. The monsters, as you said, the first large part of the movie is a Monster in the Lake movie. And it does that, slowly teasing you that pretty well. Like, it didn't tip the balance on anything particularly. It's just a decent enough movie. Definitely fits the horror bill. But no, I can't complain about it. I would give it a 6. It's one, again, unlike some movies, it's not left a lasting impression on me. I will probably talk about some of these movies for a couple of years or remember them forever. Like, but this isn't going to be one of them. I'm not saying I'm upset to have watched it. It's more. It definitely fits the bill.
See, I think that the twist is quite well earned, and I think you'll probably always remember that bit just as that's getting unveiled, because a lot of the audience were like doing little
it's
mini
really well
gasps. It had that really good moment, but like I say, it was kind of fucking all over the place for me. So I give it a 5 out of 10 because I couldn't really recommend it. And it would have worked. Maybe it would have worked better as a short film or something. I don't know. Like, no, that's unfair because the pacing was fine.
The pacing was totally fine.
It's not like it doesn't have enough material. It was fine like that. Like, I don't know. It was just it could have been refined into something a bit better, I think.
Yeah.
5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10.
Our penultimate movie, 8 p.m. Saturday.
Now, this movie, I was just going to interrupt to say, this movie was hyped up for sure.
Yes.
Before we watched it. Like the headline slot, everyone was like, "Whoa, love it."
Very much was. The organizers of this wander around the
auditorium
throughout the weekend as well, and this one was very much talked about every time you were passing them, and so Gabriele Mainetti's Freaks Out, purported to be the most expensive Italian movie ever produced, is what it was claimed to be at the
How much? Quick. How much? How much? You didn't look up how much?
No, I didn't look up how much. I'm only taking what's on the
okay.
on the page.
I get you.
If Fellini directed Schindler's List as a superhero, it's not a good start.
Oh,
as a superhero adventure,
Schindler's List is the one you pick.
Yeah, apparently.
Not like a war action movie.
If Fellini
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List as a superhero adventure, the result would be this astonishing epic fantasy extravaganza from Gabriele Mainetti, director of the Italian blockbuster They Call Me Jeeg Robot. In 1943, 4 circus freaks, Electric Girl Matilda, albino insect collector Sensio, super strong man beast Fulvio, and metal manipulator Mario are tempted to join the Berlin Circus on tour in Nazi-occupied Rome. Run by six-fingered pianist France's clairvoyant powers have witnessed Hitler's downfall, and he has identified the tight-knit group as the key players to help his depraved plan to change the future fortunes of the Third Reich.
Freaks Out. So, it's your Common Garden Italian World War II circus freak superhero movie. It's 10 a penny down my way. So, it juxtaposed the tragic reality with humor very well, I would say. It's what I've written here. I hate that. Why did I write that?
Because you're a pretentious twat.
Exactly. Can't not be compared to Guillermo del Toro, though. It's kind of just must suck being a European movie director directing anything to do with war when two pasty white boys say, yeah, you're just kind of a bit like Guillermo del Toro, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, because we have to say it a lot, but it fucking feels like it. I don't know.
It's a very fantastical movie.
Yeah, but it's also got grim, harsh reality of war.
It's
the Guillermo del Toro thing.
Okay, so he's got a style, all right?
Yeah, so it kind of... It is really well done, though, in that way. It kind of introduces you to all the fantasy of it. Oh, isn't this a beautiful, delicate thing? Oh, it's really nice. And then fucking airstrike. And then a fucking airstrike. This is war. This is fucking war. But it does kind of have like hard swings, because then it morphs into something else. Like, there's still peril and stuff, but I think that opening shock factor thing, the Nazis in it becomes like Nazi pageantry, like in a like humorous way. Like,
it's definitely
Franz has swastika, like swastikas coming out of everywhere. He's got swastika confetti and stuff like that.
Like it's the
funny.
Swastika. I definitely passed the 6 laugh test.
Yeah.
Both personally and audience.
Yeah, and like the Nazis are the main Nazi is kind of like a figure of fun. He's not really.
He has a lisp.
He's unhinged and stuff, but he's not like intimidating. He's kind of pathetic. Do you know what I mean?
It is a fantasy movie. It is a fantasy movie set in World War II Nazi-occupied Rome. There's like to both of those extremes. It is those things. Like, it is a full-on fantasy movie. It is a full-on Nazi war movie, but with but meshed together, both of them. Like, it's they go for the Nazi thing, and if they didn't, this movie wouldn't have worked as well as it does. It is a spectacle for one, And I think that opening scene really hammers home both, like, these people are magic.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is where we are. Like,
I know, I get it, but I do think it's a bit like, it's kind of trying to pull the rug out from under you, and I'm like, okay, I can see what you've done. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's a bit like, all right, you know, you're not really this kind of film that you're kind of, you know what I mean?
But I also, I think it does a lot of, like, and it's not a movie that I think has been done, like, big budget. Well, considering how big. I
said there were 10 a penny down my way, your Italian World War II circus freak superhero movies.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't begin to list them all in some kind of evidence.
You'll IMDb.
You'll source my data. Yeah. Come on.
So yeah, like, it's I don't think these themes are generally explored in Italy very much, or, you know, outside of, like, you know, about Italy's place and the civilian thought, like, you know, ideas that were going around, as well as some of the broader things that were happening in the area. Like, I think it handles all those themes really well. As a person who obviously is not Italian, like, the way that the characters talk is very, like, they don't hold back on what Italy was like during World War II. Obviously, it wasn't Nazi confetti. It might have been, but, like, you know, it wasn't to this scale.
Yeah.
But that's just due to the way the movie is. But it was very much you know, that, like, and it doesn't shy away from it in any respect. It doesn't justify it. It doesn't, like, but it just plainly presents it as if it was the norm at the time, which it was. And I had a great time with this movie. It's fun. It's really weird, and it's like, it's so weird before you go into it to say, oh, I had a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of fun.
It is fun. Mostly fun. There's a big penis in it.
Big penis.
I had a very good time with it. But it did have, so it passed the 6 laughs test. Good action and drama. It was very well shot and well executed. It did feel like a big budget movie, I guess, but, like, not. That sounds like criticism, and it's not really. Plus, there was the wolf people sex scene, which was funny.
Yeah.
I gave it 8 out of 10.
I also, 8 out of 10. Doesn't quite push a 9, like, but out of all the 8, it's arguably my favorite movie of the weekend.
It was very long, but it didn't feel that long.
It
felt a bit long, but it was very long. It was like 2.5 hours, wasn't it? Something like that.
2:20.
But it didn't feel quite that long, but it was a bit arse numbing. It was a bit. I mean, the seats in the GFT are quite, like, small for a taller man, so my knees were pretty achy by the end of it. But
no, totally. You could probably trim 20 minutes easy out of this. But no, it doesn't feel like I wasn't desperate for it to end by the end.
Yeah. It did suffer from a problem of, it kind of has an ending, then another ending 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
It does have that, but that's fine. It's like they ended it and they went, oh shit, remember that? We better shoot a bit more here.
Yeah.
But then that does lead to, like, a big set piece in and of itself, but it is just a bit odd. Yeah.
And one of my major criticisms is the romance in the movie feels very forced.
Yeah, well, I think the audience was, like, just doing the calculations of how old are they? Like, what's the age gap going on here? Is it 15 years? Is it 5? It's hard to tell.
But but in general, the whole, like, the romance top to bottom just doesn't, like, if you left it out, it would actually probably just play better.
Probably, because it's not really set. You know, it's about the bond. It's about bonds that people forge, but then that's, like, an extra thing thrown in. It's like, you don't really need that.
Yeah, it's the most Hollywood thing about the movie. Like, apart from its budget, like, it's definitely the most Hollywood thing about this movie is, like, you know, Americans like their romance, like, we'll put that in between them, like, It definitely seems that way, but generally I had a great time. I have recommended this movie since watching it. And I would do again, Donald.
Listen, if you've liked any Guillermo del Toro movies, give it a go because you like it too.
Yeah. Our final movie was The Cellar, 11 p.m. on the Saturday. Hey, it's an Irish horror movie. By
Not
Brendan
folklore,
Muldowney.
Not folklore.
It's got some folklore.
Well,
Brendan Muldowney directed, starring Elijah Cuthbert.
I think you said both of our names wrong there. Did you? Cuthbert?
Cuthbert?
I'd
Alicia Cuthbert?
I'd say Cuthbert Dublin Grub myself. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Cuthbert. Maybe it's Cuthbert.
Okay. From the critically acclaimed Irish writer-director Brendan Muldowney of Pilgrimage fame comes The Darkest Nightmare. Just as they are about to start a fresh life in the country, the Woods family quickly realise there's something not quite right with their new home. For as soon as they arrive, Kiah? I don't know why I'm struggling with that one. Kiah and Brian's daughter Ellie mysteriously vanishes into the cellar, counting a never-ending number of steps as she disappears. Soon they discover there's an ancient and powerful entity controlling their home, one Kiah will have to face or risk losing her family's cursed souls forever.
The Cellar.
It's your very run-of-the-mill family horror movie.
Your Shudder original, which I think it is.
And I don't mean family horror as in watch it with your family. I mean, there's a middle-class family and something weird's going on in the house. Proceed.
Yeah.
And I that's both a blessing and a curse. I did not enjoy this movie, but it is... the story's fine enough. Like, it's a cool enough concept that they play out, but it feels very run-of-the-mill. Very run-of-the-mill. And, yeah, sure. Like, it was honestly, like, I can't... It's another one of those where I can't fault it. I would give it a higher 6 than Monstrous just because it's one of the...
Scarier.
Yeah, it's more of a horror movie for me. And granted, in a vacuum, that's probably why they're both 6s.
Yeah.
Just at a film festival, it ended on a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was a bit weird at first where you were like, she's just an American living in Ireland with her Irish family.
Yeah.
But nah, it was... you would.
They somehow got
These
away
are
with that
10 a
bit.
penny my way.
They somehow got away with that bit of stunt casting, I guess. Because I mean, she did fine, but it was weird because I haven't seen her on TV for about 15 years.
I know. I think it was that thing where you were like, oh, it's odd. And that's it. That's all the thought you give it. And then on with the movie we go. It's an American in Ireland. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not unbelievable. Like, do you know what I mean? It is just one of those things where you would go, oh, on we go.
So this is...
So yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6. This is based on a short film, The 10 Steps, which I happened to see on Channel 4 on terrestrial television nearly fucking 20 years ago.
Honestly, talked about it the whole way home.
Yeah, because I still remember that freaking me out and also being cool. And then, I mean, I was a teen. I didn't know what it was called. I hadn't seen it again. So when I go into a film not knowing that it's based on that short story, and I'll go, hang on, I fucking know what this is. This is that story. And it was, because it's the same director that did both. Fine. But honestly, it was so weird. So it expands on that concept of the short story with kind of mixed results and some weird decisions. Because, I mean, I've looked up now, that was my avenue to look up that short film. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's got millions of views on YouTube. But I didn't know that. But that is widely regarded as like a classic. I'm sure it won like an Oscar for short film or some shit, right? It was good, right? They took that nugget and then years later just made it a bit some strange decisions. The maths genius, that's a maths genius because he was in an accident and hit his head. Why?
Yeah.
Why does he need to have that backstory? Yeah. It's so weird. And Elisha, Alyssa shouting Stephen 50 times was weird.
She loses her
Stephen's
child.
her son.
Like,
Stephen!
She loses her son like 4 times in this movie. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. But also loses him a lot, but also is like, he could play. There's a scary door to nothing that opens, and someone walks in, goes, oh, he's fine, that's fine, and just leaves and doesn't look in the weird door to nowhere.
Nope.
It's just there for the rest of the film, oddly. But it was the scariest movie of the fest. I think inarguably it probably was, in terms of your traditional fun jump scares. It had most of them. It had more of them, sorry. And some of them were pretty... Some of them got people. Like, all the other horrors, the horrors we'd seen, they didn't get people as much as this one, right? In terms of the audience. Mm-hmm. There was jumps. Yeah. Proper. And I personally enjoy... I mean, it's taking a concept that's been in my brain for 20 years and expanded on it. Of course I was going to enjoy it. And I like films that go off the rails. It's fun. I like that kind of thing. And I like the concept anyway. So I'm probably exactly the right person to like it. But it's only just about good enough. So I also gave it a 6. So that's probably the most damning review it's ever going to get, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm the only person in the world, I think, that would have thought this was amazing. And
it reminds me of the movies that were like 10 a penny coming out of...
You're now going to say 10 a penny all the time.
Yeah, I know I am. They were coming out around the time of The Ring and The Grudge. Like, it's... I don't know.
American
I feel like
Women in Peril.
I feel there's a classic thing where it's like, right, cool, we've got a concept or a short story or a remake. Right, what do we do? Right, we give it to a middle-class American family. And
if their kid goes missing, that's a plus.
Yeah.
Because that happens in a lot of them.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's... And that's why I just feel it was so, like, run-of-the-mill. Like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's getting crapped out onto Shudder in probably 2 months. Probably now. Fucking hell. What? It's getting pooped out into Shudder. And I'd say, do you know what? If you want to watch a scary movie, it's perfectly serviceable. And it will probably scare some people quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's it.
You could do worse.
Yeah, you could do worse. Yeah. If you're flicking through Shudder and you're like, I've seen all this, or the rest of it looks shit, that one's fine. Watch that one if you want.
What a glowing review. Put that in the box. Watch this one if you want. But yeah, so that was 11 movies, 2 days.
11 movies, 2 days. And for me personally, I think there was like 3 8 out of 10s. If I had to choose my favorite one, I'd probably be going between Some Like It Rare and whatchamacallit, You're Not My Mother. So I guess I'd probably just say You're Not My Mother because it's actually a horror movie, if you know what I mean. But that was my takeaway from it. It didn't hit the heady heights of FrightFest 2020 had VFW as its like big tentpole movie, and I love that film. This one didn't quite hit those kind of heights, and had some fucking lows. But I mean, it was still good. There's still enough that we didn't feel, because after watching A Cloud So High, it could have gone so much worse. So it was still a fun time.
I feel that Freaks Out was probably as good a movie as VFW, but not
take
for
these words,
but
right
not
back
for a horror movie.
Yeah.
Not for a horror film festival. Like I would, VFW is not horror by like supernatural, but it's gory. It's got that like it's more an action movie than anything else. But it definitely fits the theme.
Kind of thing. I mean, Saint Maud was also 2020, so it had 2 absolutely fucking powerhouse movies. To be fair,
yeah. And You're Not My Mother is probably not at the same heights as Saint Maud.
It's not.
But yeah, You're Not My Mother is probably my favorite. With some Like It Rare and Freaks Out being my second places.
They were my 8 out of 10 as well. I just fucking hell, we agree so hard. Jesus.
I know. No, there was not a lot. Wyrmwood was probably the one we disagreed on the most, and it wasn't even by that much.
No.
Yeah, it's It was a decent year. I definitely would say that 2020 was stronger.
Yeah, I think because that was our first Fright Fest, so you may have been able to say there was an element of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, objectively, St. Maud and VFW they're just hitting that. They're just getting over that lip that most movies don't get over.
I still recommend VFW to basically anyone.
Oh, hell yeah.
Listen.
Oh, yeah. Anyone that likes any kind of grungy...
And the casting's perfect for it. Like, it's a bunch of old action movie stars playing old army veterans.
Yeah.
Past
good.
past their prime.
Yeah.
Like
funny, gory. Oh, anyway, this is about VFW.
Heartwarming. Our takeaway from this is go watch VFW.
I'd say mod. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to return in 2023. Or go down to London. No, it can't be bothered to go down to London. God. We don't like traveling.
No, we don't. Especially when we're paying for it. So, as a sneak preview, what will we be? Where have we got to drive to by next time?
You may have heard that we were planning on covering Sputnik, but due to worldwide events that I don't think I need to explain, we thought that's probably not the best idea. So, next episode, we're going to be visiting Estonia. To watch November, directed by Rainier Sarney. Might be Sarnet, I'm not sure.
It's a beautiful, beautiful Estonian word. What
November. November, I think.
Yeah, what does it mean?
November.
No, what does it mean?
November.
We'll see you all next week. No, but what does it mean?
November.
No, what does it mean?